Each week, American Artifacts takes viewers into archives, museums, and historic sites around the country. The Civil War Battle of Chancellorsville was fought April 30th to May 6, 1863, in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. Many historians consider the battle to be Confederate General Robert E. Lee's greatest victory. Facing a Union army more than twice the size of his own, Lee divided his forces, sending 27,000 men under Stonewall Jackson on a 12-mile march to deliver a flank attack. Next, we follow two National Park Service historians on a tour as they walk the same ground exactly 150 years after Jackson launched his attack. Here's a portion of the tour.
The next division in line belonged to General Carl Schurz. His troops were located around this brief opening. This was called the Hawkins Farm. It still belongs to the Hawkins family today. At the time of the battle, Schurz had several brigades around the house. But as he started to get an inkling of some of the things going on to the west, he started to shift one brigade and face them due west. He put them in this little field. This was the brigade of Vladimir Krzyzanowski. They formed up about 75 yards away from the tree line, just under this little rise. They sent skirmishers forward to check out the woods, and we were instantly met by advancing Confederates and driven back into the field. The Confederates advanced to the edge of the trees, and Krzyzanowski's brigade met them. They exchanged fire at less than 75 yards. The effective rifle range is about 300 yards. This was deadly point-blank combat, and the losses accumulated quickly, but not as quick as you might imagine. With the Confederates hidden in the trees and the Federals exposed in an open field, that slight rise would make the difference and give just a little bit of protection to the Federals out here. As the Confederates were stymied for a few seconds, remember the Confederate line is about 2 miles from flank to flank. Krzyzanowski has a brigade front of about 300 to 400 yards. The Confederates off to the north of us easily swept past this spot and threatened to come in on the flank or rear of the Federals located here. When Krzyzanowski realized that his brigade had been compromised, he immediately went to the troops and ordered them to withdraw. The colonel, the commanding officer of the 26th Wisconsin, a colonel named Jacobs, decided that he was in a stand-up fight and would not back off. Even when Krzyzanowski came to him directly and ordered him to pull back, he refused the order because it seemed cowardly. Krzyzanowski was compelled to ride down the length of the line, under fire, grasping at the neck of his horse for cover and screaming at the men, "For God's sakes, men, run!" And they backed off this hill as fast as possible. 26 Wisconsin had 650 men in this field. They left almost 200 of them in just a 15-foot wide swath. The loss of that one regiment exceeds the losses of at least 2 entire brigades that saw heavy action at Chancellorsville. This was a terrible bloodletting for them. And when they were swept off this field, you can imagine the men heading downhill into a valley, with the Confederates having the advantage of height and position to fire into them on retreat. And the loss was going to get worse, and pandemonium and panic will spread as regiments fracture and fall apart and try to get off this field as fast as possible. What we're going to do is follow in Jackson's footsteps and pursue this. We've broken one Union division, and now a second division is tumbling. It will take just a little bit of effort to destroy this as well. Ready?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it.
Hey, sir.
Oh, thank you.
You can watch this or other American Artifacts programs at any time by visiting our website, cspan.org/history. And watch American Artifacts every Sunday at 8 a.m., 7 p.m., and 10 p.m. Eastern on C-SPAN 3.